Call your friends. So Twitter is taking a little bit of time to go live, but we will go live just now. We going live. Join us. Tell me where you're joining us from so that I can welcome you properly. Let's see. Why is this like that? There we go. Join us. You are welcome. You're welcome. You're welcome. You're welcome. Join us. Tell me where you're from. Welcome, Teboho. We can see you. Ginger Stone. Welcome. Agnes, welcome. Welcome from Toyando. Are you at the University of Venda? Welcome. Twitter is giving me grief here. It's refusing to connect. But we will get there. Let's see. We're trying to make sure that Twitter is connected. It's taking time, so we're going to do that and see. I'm going to cancel and start afresh. Let's do this. Let's do this and see. All right. Twitter is allowing us. And there we go. Welcome on Twitter. Welcome on Facebook. Welcome on Instagram. Ntswaki from CUT, you are welcome. Hello guys. The people are still walking into the room. We can see people on Facebook. Sorry, on Facebook. I realized yesterday that the live session was put on private, on me only seeing it, which is ridiculous. So today, I managed to get it right. So thank you for joining us. Welcome. Tell your friends we're here. Today is going to be super inspirational. We're talking to Dr. Rachel Dangarenze-Mbizi. She trended. Her story, her inspirational story of graduation trended in 2018. And today we'll talk to her about her story. But she's an academic now and she can talk to us about what it is that she's doing to become a professor. So, and we're doing that sort of so that we can help other people who want to be professors about what is it that they can do. All right, so you can put your questions out there and we will try to answer them. I can see Mataka Lerato from UJ, welcome. UWC in the house, welcome. We can see the love, we love you too. Thank you, we feel safe with UWC in the house. Babala from UCT, welcome. You are welcome. Welcome from UCT. CUT in the house, welcome. Welcome from CUT, CPUT. People from Toyando are here as well. You are all welcome. And so today we've got a little more to cover. So let me tell you what what I've told you that we're going to talk to Dr. Rachel. People from UP, welcome. People from Botswana, welcome. I worry, of course, when the room is empty because then people are going to come in late. I can see people from Fort Hare, welcome. Eastern Cape, you are safe. And Northwest University Mafikeng campus, welcome. Refilwe, welcome. UCT GSB representing. Yes, Celeste, good to see you. UNISA in the house, Sefako Makhathi University in the house, welcome. Batobako Rankua, Baba Dese, welcome. It's wonderful to see you here. Madunaski, welcome. Everyone, welcome. Facebookers, tell them we are live today. The UWC is here as well. Tell them we're waiting for University of Venda and Stellenbosch, because when they're in the house, then we know we've got two corners of the country. Then we can start properly. Dr. Rachel's story shows that we must never make excuses for not achieving our goals. Definitely. And if you don't know Dr. Rachel's story, you will hear it today. We're going to share it today. Instagram is getting better. Let's see. Facebook, let's see people coming in. Hello guys, I can see you. Welcome. James, welcome. So here's what's going down, right? Things are getting better. We can see Mawetu from Mama Wetu. We can see you. Thank you. People Basa Eastern Cape, welcome. So here's the thing. I don't know if you saw the advert. I'm now going to be doing a radio program, 1 hour radio program on Thursday evening. Yes, I start work at I start my work day at 3 o'clock. I'm here at my desk working at 5 o'clock. And then I go on until 7 or 8. I'll go till 7, have a 1 hour break, and then come in on Thursday from 8 to 9. I'll be on Radio Bob, the radio station with a mind of its own. Make sure you don't miss it. We'll have a whole hour. In an hour, I'll have 4 segments, right? In an hour. In the first segment, I'll be giving my view, my opinion, my reflection on the issue of the time. It's always focusing on education, whatever the issue is. I mean, I'm bothered by a lot of things. Leaked exam papers. This week, I'll be giving my view about leaked exam papers. We're talking about the matric exam papers. I'm going to do that just for the first segment on Thursday, Radio Bob. And then the second segment, I'll be talking to someone who is who's going to be teaching us something about their lives, about their educational journey. And this week, I plan to speak to a young, beautiful woman who went into engineering. I just want to talk about women who go into engineering. Black women, young black women who go into engineering, who are smart, right? And she's just completed, I'm still waiting for a yes from her. And I'll be talking to her on Thursday, just for the second segment of the show, right? And then we'll get your questions, right? Whether you're doing engineering or not, whether you want your child to do engineering or not, join us, because we want to talk about what it takes to succeed as a young woman at university, coming from far and going to campus, staying at residence. What does it take to succeed? So I'll talk to her for the second 15 to 20 minutes. And thereafter, I'll take your questions. I'll interact with you. You can ask me questions about what we've just spoken about, or anything that you want me to tell you about, to respond to help you with, about going into university, about succeeding in your academic career, about supporting your children, your nieces, your nephews, about making a difference in education in your kasi, your township, your village. Let's talk about it. And then the last segment of the show, I'm doing a motivation, right? That's all happening on Thursdays. Thursday on Radio Bob. Join me on Radio Bob on Thursday, and we'll connect that way. And here's the thing. If you don't know how to get Radio Bob, get an app, Radio ZA. Radio ZA is an app. They say they're working on their app, but their app is not up yet. So just get the app, Radio ZA, and look for Radio Bob. Click there on Thursday, 8 o'clock. Your deputy mother will be on air. And for you, she's doing it for free. She's not being paid. This is community service. We can't be sitting here with all we know, all we can do, and not sharing it. When I was at varsity, when I was starting as a young academic, nobody gave these things for free like this, right? But we can change that. Even though we didn't get it that way, we can change that. So join me on Radio Bob, the radio station with a mind of its own. And we will be on every Thursday. And it's going to be popping. It's going to be popping. Don't forget. I'll remind you on my handles on social media. But today we're talking to Dr. Rachel Dangarembisi. Dr. Rachel Dangarembisi, I met her online, Rachel, I met her online during our 2018 hashtag Make Education Fashionable. I met her online as usual. I wrote that share your story. Here's the thing, everyone has a story. No one graduates without a story. It doesn't matter, rich or poor, white or black, it doesn't matter. Everyone has a story of what got them to get their degree, what got them to success, right? And I wrote that people must share their story, right? And Dr. Rachel Dangarembisi shared her story on social media. And what she wrote, and as you know, I say to you, we do it on the 1st of December, by the way. It's on Tuesday. Don't forget. Hashtag Make Education Fashionable. All I ask you to do is you share your picture and your story, you tag me, and you write hashtag make education fashionable, hashtag belt swag health, hashtag education is a thing. And you know, I get to read your story, and we're working on an edited volume now of inspirational stories of young people, and that's how I met Rachel. I know that many people missed their graduations this year because of COVID. That doesn't mean you didn't graduate. Take a picture with your certificate. Take a picture, put it there, write your story. Own your story. Encourage other people. That's how we inspire others. Your story might look small to you, but it's big to many people. So Rachel, in December, on 1 December 2018, she shared her story on Twitter. And she said, I didn't have much while growing up, but I valued my education. No, that's not what she wrote. I'll tell you what she wrote. I'll get that. I've got, that's a quotation that she used, right? Yeah. Her tweet on the 1st of December 2018 said, lost both parents to HIV at the age of 16 and became the head of a family of 4, living in the township with no hope of ever making it. July 2018, graduated with a PhD in neuroscience at Wits. Proud to have taken all my siblings to university too. God is good. And then hashtag make education fashionable. Rachel's story, just those few lines, hit the world. It trended in 2018. I remember what I do. What people don't know is I put things on social media and then I get on with my day. As I was getting on with my day, people sent me messages and said, you are trending on radio. And I said, what? And they said there's someone called Rachel. Her tweet is everywhere. Later in the day I went, I saw the tweet. It was doing wonders. It went over 100,000 likes and retweets and all sorts of things. I DM'd her. I slid into her DM. Yes, I do slide into people's DMs if they are amazing. I went into Rachel's DM and I said to Rachel, where are you? Please give me your number. I want to talk to you. Rachel gave me her number. I called her. And I said, where are you? She said she's in Zimbabwe. I said, what are you doing? She said, you know, I've got some kind of work, whatever. It sounded like part-time at University of Zimbabwe. She doesn't have a laboratory. She doesn't have a team. She was the only one. And I said to her, but what do you want to do? What's your dream? And Rachel said, I want to be an academic. I want to be a professor. But I mean, I had no opportunity. So that's why I came back home and I'm here. And I was like, wow, okay, Rachel, let's see if there's anyone in neuroscience who's got a postdoc perhaps, and maybe they can give you an opportunity to grow, right? I spoke to my colleague, Professor Graham Feig, an amazing colleague, Professor Feig, and I said, Graham, here's a story, man. I mean, I was full of goosebumps, and I said, here's a story of an amazing young woman who's got a PhD in neuroscience. She's in Zimbabwe, and she sounds like the kind of person you might do. Do you have a postdoc? She said, yes, but Rachel, we've got to talk to her first. I said, cool. I gave him the number. She spoke to Rachel. One thing led to another. Rachel got a postdoc fellowship. Right? I'm going to call Rachel to come join me online because she can tell you that's not the only thing that happened. All right? The reason I'm telling your story is that I want you to know that your story matters. Your story is power. Your story is what's going to sell you. Rachel didn't ask for a handout. As I told you, she just wrote on her tweet, lost both parents to HIV at age of 16, became the head of the family of 4, living in the township with no hope of ever making it. July 2018, graduated with a PhD in neuroscience at Wits. Proud to have taken all my siblings to university too. God is good. Rachel's story is a story of victory, even though someone else could have written it as a story of shame, as a story of suffering, as a story of loss, as a story of whatever HIV does to people. And Rachel made it a story of victory. And because of that, it opened floodgates of blessings for her. And now she's here at UCT. And she's doing it. Rachel, join me. I want to talk to Rachel because I touched base with her and learned that that was not the only thing that happened to Rachel as a result of the tweet. Happened to Rachel. Sharing her story was very powerful. And sharing her story opened so many other opportunities. Rachel, welcome.
Hi, Prof. How
Thank
are
you so
you?
much.
Thank you so much for having me.
I want to take the volume up so that everybody can hear you. We've got people on Facebook, and
Hi,
this is
everyone, and thank you so much for joining us.
great. So, Rachel, you're going to speak loud, right? We're going to speak loudly so that they can hear us.
Absolutely.
And you thank you so much, first of all, for sharing your story, for agreeing to share your story. In
Thank you, Prof.
2018, when I invited people to share their stories, thank you for being bold, but more than anything, thank you for being you, because many people who have your kind of story make it a story of shame. They make it a story of loss. They make it a story of, despair. HIV/AIDS did this to us, and so that's why we are here suffering. Please help me. And you created victory out of adversity. So thank you, and I bow down to you. I mean, I've got goosebumps even as I think about
Prof, I'm so humbled.
Yeah, no, I mean, you are something else. You said to me that tweet attracted other kind of favor. I want you to share with the people listening to us. What else came to you as a result of that tweet? Who else contacted you and about what?
All right, thank you, Prof. So you won't believe it, but a few weeks actually after the tweet had gone viral and I had been called by so many news houses, both here in South Africa and also from abroad. And the tweet had also been translated into other languages. I mean, it was translated
Wow.
into Spanish, into French, into Arabic, and I
Wow.
kept getting, yes, and I kept seeing my face there and languages that I can't even read. And I'm like, how did this happen? People shared
Wow.
the tweet on WhatsApp groups and different groups, and it would start recirculating back to me in some of the groups that I'm in. And I'm like, wow, this thing went round. But a few weeks after the tweet, I got an email from people I did not even know. This is probably one of the most influential scientists in the world, based in the UK, from Brazil, who is a neuroscientist at Duke University. I will not give his name, but
Yeah.
they were setting up the very first hospital for treating neuro diseases, specifically for treating neurological diseases here in Africa, and they were doing it in South Africa. So
Wow.
he emailed me and he said, I was really inspired by your tweet. And I've been thinking and looking for a young person who's got energy, who's in neuroscience, who can be able to work with us as we're trying to set this up. Because not only do we want a hospital, we also want to put a research center. Would you be interested? I said,
Wow.
absolutely, I am interested. And then they said, no, our team is in South Africa. And I was in Zim at that time. And so they said, our team is in South Africa. They'll arrange everything and you can go and meet them. Prof, I flew business class for the first time in my life.
Wow. Okay, girl.
Going to a meeting to meet with these guys and discuss what their plans were and all of that. And we are on track doing that. And not only that, they were also setting up a foundation. So it was this neuroscientist and a mathematician from Switzerland, and they were setting up a foundation which would fund African people that cannot afford these surgeries, perhaps. They would fund them. So this foundation, they also asked me to be a trustee of that foundation.
Wow.
And I was so honored. I mean, from a tweet.
From a tweet.
It was a life-changing tweet, I promise you. Life-changing.
From a campaign of making education
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
But here's the thing, it's sharing your story. As I always say, everyone has got a story. But it's not only that. I mean, you could have shared a story of shame, as I said.
Absolutely.
And you didn't make it a story of shame. So it's also about, what do you make of your challenging situation? And it's because of what you made of your challenging situation. I believe that even if we didn't run the campaign of Make Education Fashionable, even if you didn't tweet, your story was going to put you right up there. But it's because I'm a spiritual person, and I believe in destiny. I believe that God has got a plan, and things come. Yeah. I just happen to be in the path somewhere, creating a possibility that it happens. It just happened to be me. Could have been anybody. The story was not going to disappear. So big ups to you, and thank you for being strong, for being anti-fragile, because what you're doing is anti-fragility. You are anti-fragile. So that's fantastic. Yeah. Now, you came, Graham called you, Professor Fegan, to be a postdoc here. Tell us about that story, because here you are. I can't remember, in Zimbabwe, was it a permanent job? Was it a contract? Was it a makeshift thing? What was it?
It was a permanent job. So I'd been working in Zim at the National University of Science and Technology, also called NUST, which is the second largest university in Zim. So I was working there as a lecturer in physiology on a split site. We called it a split site, where I could be teaching but also doing my PhD. So I was doing my PhD here in South Africa at Wits, but I would go across and do all my teaching. Then when I graduated, I then went and was teaching full time. But the only challenge I had was I didn't have lab space, and I didn't have a research group and all of that. So that was one of the distressing aspects about my
career. And I remember thinking that's going to be the end of your research career. You won't be able.
That's how I felt. I felt like, you know, I've got so many skills that I've learned throughout my PhD that I would want to use, and I would want to help to build capacity, you know, here in South Africa and here in Southern Africa in general, in neuroscience. But I can't do it if I don't have the resources to do that. So when I spoke to Prof. Graham Fegan, as you're saying, Prof. Graham Fegan said, look, we're actually opening a new neuroscience institute, which is the first of its kind on African soil. And you're just in time, because we're just about to open our doors. It's still being built and everything, but you could be a part of it if you're interested. And I said, I'm so interested, definitely. And so he then said, look, what we could do is, we've got a lot of researchers in neuroscience doing different things. And you could come down and meet with them and see who it is who is working in like an area of research that you're interested in, and you can be able to join them. And then I said, okay. So I met with 10 good neuroscience researchers in the Neuroscience Institute and spoke with them. It was such a powerful moment in my life. I mean, some of them I'd only read on papers, Prof. And now I was meeting them face to face.
Wow.
They were explaining what they were doing to me, and I was making a choice of who it is I wanted to work with.
Imagine, what a luxury.
I felt so special. But yes, I then decided that my work was more aligned to Dr. Joseph Raimondo's. He's such a powerful neuroscientist. He's And so we spoke with Dr. Raimondo, and then we started looking for funding because we had to look for funding. So I started applying for scholarships and everything. And I don't want to say luckily, because I don't really believe much in luck as a spiritual person, but the very first scholarship that I applied for came out very positive, which was the Harry Cross. And that's how I joined UCT as a postdoc.
So you had to write the proposal?
Yes, I had to write a proposal. I had to apply for my scholarship, and then it was successful, and then I joined Dr. Raimondo's lab.
That's another lesson, though, for other young people who want opportunities for postdoc and so on. When someone invites you and say, okay, fine, you want to work with me, now here's an opportunity, write a proposal. You don't say, you get me their money, I will come and do a postdoc if you give me the money. You get on, write the proposal, send it off. In a way, you raise your own funding, and that's what you did. Because what they were doing is giving you an opportunity. They were saying, we've got an opportunity, we can work for you, choose who you want to work with. Once you have selected, they said, okay, fine, great, I can work with you. Here's the thing to apply for.
Right.
And many young people don't want to do that. They think that someone has to give you the funding if they're a postdoc. So I hope people are learning. Grab the opportunity if you have to write a proposal, particularly if you have experienced people, because they'll give you feedback and then you know what you're submitting. So great. Now, you know, I didn't go back. I want to
a little bit.
Oh, yes, you too. I mean, I think our Wi-Fi is not as great, but we're going to keep pushing. We're not giving up on this. We're not giving up.
Absolutely.
So then you got this opportunity to do a postdoc. What then happened, Rachel, from then on?
Right, so I joined Dr. Raimondo's lab. Then I think 3 months into the postdocship, you know, I don't know, I believe in God's blessing. We were setting up a model and we're giving ourselves time. So let's say within 2 years, we want this model to be working, we want everything to be here and all. So I set up everything, I started writing out all of my protocols, and within 3 months, we had the protocol working, which was super amazing. Wow. So we had got ourselves more than 1.5 years of time, you know.
Wow.
And around the same time that this model worked, there was also an advert for a lectureship position in neurophysiology at UCT. So I put in my application for that. And I was shortlisted. And when I was shortlisted, I went for interviews and I was successful. So I got lecturing, a permanent position as a lecturer, and I was given my own lab. It happened all so fast. I joined, Prof, this is the timeline. December, making education fashionable. July, Dr.
Yes.
October, I am fully employed at UCT and I've got my own lab. It was so amazing. It was so amazing.
Wow. And I didn't even know you applied for the job. I met someone who was apparently in the selection committee and said, wow, we interviewed this young woman who is PowerWorks. And when we spoke about them afterwards, they said that's you met them on Twitter. I was like, what? Is that Rachel? The person said, yes. I was like, wow. So Rachel applied for a job. I was thinking, wow, this is amazing. I mean, this is miracle on miracle, Rachel. This is
miracle on miracle, Prof. It was, it's such a wonderful story.
It is. But then, Rachel, of course, I mean, you have now this opportunity. It is unusual. You landed in a good space. You're working with good people. They are challenging you to do things that are higher. You are rising to the occasion. You are writing the proposal. You are doing things. You know, what's your dream? You said, I said to you, you've got to be a professor. I think you should be a professor. I think you're on your route to be a professor.
Thank you,
Talk to
Prof.
us about your dream and how you're shaping this as you navigate your career.
So I've opened a new lab, and the lab is focusing on an area that is also a infections. I don't know if you can hear me. I was doing
Yes, I
work
can
on
hear you.
neuroinfection, neuroinflammation, but we didn't have capacity here in South Africa for me to be able to do all the molecular work. I had to go to Germany and do it from there, because that's the labs there have got the capacity and the equipment and everything, you know, and the protocols to do that. So I flew from Germany so many times, you know, to and from Germany, carrying my brain samples all the way and going, analyzing, coming back. And then when I got my own lab, I resolved that, no, this must end. It's not every student that has got this opportunity to go across to Europe. We need to shift, you know, the center of gravity and move it down as well to the global south. So I was bold and I opened the very first neuroinflammation lab in the region. And we will be focusing on neuroinfections, which are very relevant to us here in Africa, particularly. And so that's what I've started doing. And in order to do that, I need a lot of funding, of course. I mean, you can't compare the level of research, you know, that we are doing versus what the first world is doing. So because I pitched it so high, I've got a challenge of finding funding for it. Huge challenge to do that. And also research group, and it's got to be flying high with all of those first world groups as well. And that's my dream.
Wow, that's awesome. So have you submitted funding? You said funding applications for that, Rachel?
Yes. So 2020, you know, 2020, we've got this lockdown and everybody was complaining. I was at home writing grants like there's no tomorrow, Prof. I think I wrote more than 8 different grant applications.
Wow.
And one of those really scared me. When I finished and submitted it, it really scared me as an individual, because I didn't think I was going to write for such a huge grant. I wrote a proposal for a huge grant, millions upon millions of rands, to fund this new lab of mine. And it's a very prestigious grant. And so I applied for it, but it had a lot of requirements. And one of the requirements was that you're supposed to be mentored by a world leader who has got field expertise in the area that you're working in. So I remember sitting down and looking at those conditions and getting really heartbroken and thinking, maybe if I had learned at Cambridge, or if I had learned at Harvard, you know, I'd be having all of these big connections. That's how I felt. And then I felt, but no, I need to look for these world leaders in my area of research. Went online, looked them up, and decided to email them from nowhere. That boldness, I don't know where I got it, Prof. Up until this day, I'm still surprised. But I sat down and I emailed them. And I said, look, my name is Rachel. This is my CV. This is my proposal that I'm putting for this prestigious grant. They require me to work in collaboration and be mentored by people that are world leaders in this research. And I've read your papers, and I would like to request, you know, that you work with me and you mentor me and help me to grow this research group in the global south. That's how I pitched it. So I sent that email to 2 of the greatest of leaders in fungal immunology or neuroinflammation.
Yes.
I didn't even think it was going to work, but well, I did it anyway. And surprisingly, I got a response, positive responses, Prof. They were both super excited about my project. That's number one.
Wow.
They said I would be the first person for the project that I was applying with. I would be the first person to do that globally. And
wow.
they were on board. They wanted to collaborate. They were keen to mentor me. And yes, so I submitted that grant and put them as my two mentors. And then we let it sit. 6 months later, just about 3 or so weeks ago, I then received an invitation for an interview. I've been shortlisted.
Yes!
Wow. I can't even believe it, Prof. They told us that they had more than 700 applicants from all over the world.
The world.
The whole world.
And you are shortlisted.
I was shortlisted. A girl from here in Africa. I was like, yes!
Imagine, from the dusty streets of Africa.
Thank you, from the township.
Amen.
So,
wow. But here's the thing. These things don't just happen.
They don't.
You could have sat down in your, I mean, there's so many points where you could have just sat down and said, it's enough. Or, no, I'm not doing this. They must help me because this. Or
right.
I deserve this because of this, that. And you don't. Imagine during the lockdown, you write 8 proposals, funding proposal, 8. When people are complaining about the fact that they feel claustrophobic, they want to get out, they want their colleagues, they want whatever, you sit down and put your head down and you write. And then you write to people that you don't even know, who
that
are
I didn't even know.
in the world. You don't ask somebody to connect you with them. You don't sit there and say, we in Africa are not connected. These people is connections. That's why they get ahead. You write to them. You say, I don't care. I have nothing to lose. I can write to them. If they say no, it's fine. You write to them. You say, I'm applying for this. This is the reason. Do you want to work with me? And then they tell you it will be the first time it will be done globally. Imagine.
Globally.
So I hope young people take your story as a motivation, encouragement that they've got to do these things. You've got to put yourself out there, not by rubbishing other people, not by making people feel guilty, not by making yourself a scapser, by presenting yourself as a scholar who's got a project, who needs to collaborate. Finish and clap.
Finish and clap. Thank you, Prof. Yeah.
Wow, I've got goosebumps.
I want to say that's not all, actually. Yeah. I went on to get three of the grants that I had applied for, 3 other grants that I applied for were all successful, some of which were bursaries for my master's students, living expenses and all of that. So next year, Prof is going to be lead in the neuroinflammation lab. It's going to be going down.
Wow.
But also not all, because, through this thing of contacting people and going out of your comfort zone and saying, look, this is me, this is where I am, this is what I want to do. It seems ambitious, but if you can work with me, we can make it happen. It got me invited to the UK MRC Center for Medical Mycology. They say that we've been looking for people that work on fungal immunology in Africa and we can't find. And here you are. Would you like to be a principal investigator and be a part of the Center for Medical Mycology representing us in Africa? And I said, yes. So,
look at that, Rachel. And all of this comes from a proposal that you wrote during lockdown.
An over-ambitious proposal that I didn't even think
will succeed.
It just opened doors.
Yeah, you've got nothing to lose. You've got to put yourself out there. And it's okay to dream big, but you must then write the proposal and then send it. You must put yourself out there and send them. And you've got to always say, I'm going to do my best. If it doesn't work, that's fine. You've got nothing to lose, but you've got to send it. And now you are going to be a principal investigator. Amen. That's powerful, Rachel. That is powerful. And you see, Rachel, this is the making of a journey to professorship. Because some of these things that you are doing, there are professors in other universities who have never even been a principal investigator in any project. Right. If you want to be a professor, you've got to have a project, you've got to know how to write proposals, mobilize money for your project and for your students. And you are doing that already. You have started. You are doing that. Right. You've got to mobilize collaboration with other people elsewhere in the world. You can't just say, because I'm in Africa, I just want to work with people in Africa. I don't work with anybody else. Neuroscience is not just African. You're going to breed African knowledge and thinking into the other projects whilst you're working with people elsewhere in the world. Absolutely. And you roll to these people and connect, right? You don't just sit and say, my university must just give me money. You writing and looking for funding elsewhere. You doing the things that will get you there, right? That will get you there. And now you're being sought after. People are asking you. You didn't sit in the glory of people who connected you after the hashtag Make Education Fashionable and said, I'm a trustee. So that's okay. You kept on writing and pushing, and that is fantastic. Indeed. Now, you're teaching. You know, some young people who want to be professors think that they've got to dump teaching. You know, you've got to only do research, you don't do teaching. Tell us about your teaching.
So teaching is definitely very important. I mean, almost all universities employ you on a teaching ticket before anything else. You're usually employed to fill in a teaching gap. So I'm involved in teaching, and I teach neuroscience or neurophysiology. I can also teach physiology, but right now I'm mostly focusing on teaching neurophysiology to both undergraduate and postgraduate programs here at UCT. But I don't restrict myself to UCT in terms of teaching. I've got universities where I'm a guest lecturer, for example, who call me and say, we want a lecturer who teaches this aspect of the brain, and I'm ready to do so. And so I am a guest lecturer or a sessional lecturer in other universities as well. But I wanted to say something about teaching experience at the point of entry into academia. Yes. When you apply for a job in academia, a lectureship, for example, you are in a battle, literally, with people who've got a lot of experience in different things.
Yes.
And so if you're a postgrad, either master's or PhD, this is the time for you to be building your teaching experience. Yes. I know one will say, but where will I get a chance to teach? Whenever there's an opportunity, volunteer. When I was doing my master's and my PhD, we would be asked for people who are interested in tutoring or practical demonstrations or marking or things like that. And I was one of the ones in the forefront looking for tutoring positions, looking for practical demonstrations and marking, etc. Not for the money, but for the experience. Yes. And the obvious benefit of all the tutoring, of course, was that I got the experience, but the not so obvious benefit is that is how I got noticed as a teacher. So I'll give an example, and I'll actually give an example of the university. When I was doing my PhD at Wits, there was an opening for tutors at UJ in physiology. And I signed up for that, and then I got the tutorship, and then I went there, I was tutoring, the students loved me, but an opportunity arose in the form of a lecturer who was going on leave, sick leave, and someone needed to stand in for them. And then I was pulled because, you know, I was there, I had been noticed. And then they say, take these few lectures, let's see. I took the few lectures, I impressed, and Prof, the next thing, I was now the standard relief person. Anyone who's going on a PhD leave to write up their PhD, I would be the one to be slotted in there. Anyone
Yeah.
going on maternity leave, Rachel would take up all of that work. So I ended up
Wow.
with full semesters of teaching. And
Wow.
what that gave me is, because I was replacing different people who taught different programs, I ended up teaching physiology to more than 12 programs, 12 degree programs.
Wow.
At different levels, be they first year,
Yeah.
second year, third years, be they emergency medical care students or advanced medicine, or, you know, all different programs. So when I then came to UCT and I'm applying for this job, and they asked me about my teaching experience, I brought in all of that, you know.
Yes.
And
Yes.
said, I've taught more than 12 different degree programs in science and medicine and health sciences. What sizes of classes are we like? Well, from small classes to big class, all of that I had experience during my postgraduate training.
Yes.
So to all of those postgraduates that are out there that might be listening and that are interested in teaching positions later, build your teaching portfolio now.
Yes. But here's the thing, Rachel, it's a very important advice. I mean, it's also the attitude, because if you're doing it for the money, then you're not building. It's a different thing. Your conversations will be different. You want to know how much you paid, whatever. Sometimes, I suspect that sometimes there were times when you did it for free.
Yes, absolutely.
And
there were times, yeah.
More people get to know you. They know she's a good teacher, she's organized, she marks, she delivers on time, she's there for class, students love her, whatever. So you're building a reputation with a variety of people. Not something like, oh, she's forever complaining, oh, one mistake, she's queening.
She's grumpy.
Oh, what?
Absolutely.
So it's getting the work of tutoring, but also the attitude and how you work with people that gets you the reputation and gets you called everywhere.
Completely agree with you, Prof.
Now you have a teaching portfolio that you didn't work, you didn't have to struggle so much to get, but just making yourself a
Right.
That's fantastic, Rachel. Your story is absolutely amazing. Now, here's the thing: young Black academics get pulled into so many things that sometimes I feel like saying to people, don't just be in every little committee that's there. Choose what you're going to be, which committee you're going to be in, because there's a shortage of Black people. So people get pulled, and then young Black people forget, once you're being pulled into many committees, people your age, white academics your age, are busy doing research and writing papers and teaching. So you've got to choose. And sometimes you've got to say, that's nice, but not this year. I'll do that next year. I want to be in that research project. I want to do that. And I'm not talking committees. I'm not talking research projects. I'm talking committees, like, administrative committees and stuff. So I want to know whether you have thought about this. What's your strategy? Which committees do you fall? I mean, I know that you belong to a very big faculty. You are probably not called on much because it's a big faculty. But it will be interesting to know if you belong to any committee, or you've made choices, or you've thought about it. Rachel?
Right. Thank you for bringing that up, Prof. So when I sat down to think of my academic career and how I wanted to go, I had 6 things that I was really focused on. So the teaching is one. We've spoken about research was one. Then there was admin. So I knew that the university requires of me time and effort, in running the admin side of things. And what you said is very important. It was a very difficult thing for me to say no to things as they were coming. When you join, everyone is excited and happy to work with you. And it's so difficult to turn some of the opportunities down, and you find yourself overwhelmed with a lot. So that is a lesson that kind of came late for me. And I was sitting there and thinking, you know what, I really want to please everyone, but I can't. You know,
Yeah.
I just have two hands. And so I have to make a choice of what it is I can do and what it is I
Yeah.
cannot, and where I can help and where I can't. And
Yeah.
that's what I had to do. I do serve in some departmental committees. I run the research seminars here in our division. And
Great.
I'm also part of the communications team. I've got bits and pieces of admin that I do. I'm very happy with them. And
Yeah.
yeah, but there comes a time when you say, I can't take any more admin at this point.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Of course, you've got to do admin, but you
Yeah.
can't be, because by the way,
Can't be everything to everyone.
you can't. And there's admin in your department, there's admin in your faculty, and then there's admin in your discipline outside your university. Then there's admin, in the wider education sector. There's, it can grow and grow and grow. So it's important to think about, and actually, it's very important to contribute to your department and your faculty. Sometimes people choose to do there, but not here. And then people here become resentful that you are busy out there, but you are not doing
but
here.
not
So
with
yeah, it's good that as you make choices, but you don't burden yourself. You must watch them so that you can
watch them, definitely. Right.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Rachel, I want to go back to your family. I mean, I think, okay, no, before we do that, let's do your publications. So how are they going?
Okay, so my publications are going fine. Perhaps just a little bit, just like I did for teaching, a little bit of how I did it for my publication, trying to build a publication record when you don't have a single cent to your name as a postgraduate student. So I, of course, had the papers that I wrote for my PhD. But when you're applying for jobs, as I said, to all the postgrads out there who want to apply for a lectureship or something, they're going to count the number of publications you've got and the publication track record that you have. But how do you build that during your postgrad years? And personally, this is how I did it. I sold my skills. I collaborated with other researchers, senior researchers that needed skills and that didn't have time. I had time. And I would get into the lab, I would get my hands dirty, I would collect data, I would design studies, I would co-supervise students, I would write papers with them, and I would co-publish with them. And the moment you develop such good relationships with those senior researchers, some aspects or some projects will be put your way. They will be given to you and you can run them and you can be a first author on them. And that's how I built my publication record. So I would like to encourage everybody during their postgraduate years, collaborate, find a network of researchers who are doing the same work you're doing, tell them what skill you've got and bring it in.
Yes. I can see someone saying, how do you sell your skills? I mean, they think it's like you're selling, but it's exactly what you are saying. You tell them what the skill you have is, and you can help them with. Because they have too many things to do, and you can say, well, I can help you with this, and then you end up co-authoring with them.
Right. By selling your skills, I don't mean in monetary terms. I mean, market your skills. Sell yourself and what you are good at. That's what I was trying to say.
So which means you don't sit there, and sometimes bright students sit there with skills and they're like, I know what to do, and I will not tell them. I will not. They must come. So you have to make people aware what's the skill that you have, share it with them. You are trying to build a publication record. These people already have a track record.
They are professors.
There's no harm in working with them, co-authoring with them as a start. I did that myself. I co-authored with top people, and that builds your career. Soon you'll be first author in articles that you are writing with them. And other people get to see you are first author. And then soon you write on your own. Some things you write on your own. And people get to know you. That's how we do it in this business. Right? So people should learn that's just how it works. Right. Now tell us your family. In your tweets, you talked about raising your siblings. Where are they? How are they doing?
Um, one of my
You
siblings
should tell
graduated
us only
last
what
week.
you want to. Don't feel under pressure. Only what you want to tell us.
Right. Okay. I have three young sisters.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of girl power from our house.
Yes.
And all have gone to university now. One just graduated last week
Nice.
with an honors degree in business management. And the other two, the one is graduating next year. The other one is in second year doing biotechnology. They're all brilliant, beautiful girls. They're going to be powerful women. And I feel really honored to have raised them from such a young age, even though I was also quite young myself. But now that we've grown, you know, we forget the pain and we see how beautiful it actually is to be there for each other.
Yeah. Rachel, you are amazing. And I wish you everything of the best. Keep more than anything, keep the attitude, keep the focus, your value system, and your trust in God, your faith in God. Your story is an inspiration to many, to me, and to many other people. Every time I tell someone your story, everyone talks about, you know, feel like inspired to do much bigger, because it's very easy for all of us to stop at our problems. And you didn't stop. You kept going one step at a time, And now you are working towards being a professor, and I can see one day it'll happen. But do you have mentors? You talked about Professor Raimondo.
Yes, so Dr. Raimondo is my local mentor here at UCT, and he's been really fantastic. I mean, I joined the new division or the new department. He's got more experience working here. He knows the ins and outs, and he helps me, and we co-supervise students together as well, which is quite beautiful.
Awesome.
I've got international mentors. One of my mentors is called Prof. Gordon Brown. If you Google it, he is a force in the field of fungal immunology. He's from the University of Exeter, and he's also the director of the Center for Medical Mycology. He is really, really powerful. And my other mentor international is called Professor Hugh Perry. He is the godfather of neuroinflammation worldwide. So I am super excited to work with these mentors in my research work. But of course, I have other mentors in other aspects of my life as well. Prof, you're one of my mentors.
I know.
I am super inspired by everything that you do, and my PhD supervisor as well. So I've got a world of mentors.
No, thank you very much, Rachel. You are amazing. And I'm sure, like me, all of your mentors feel like they're getting a lot from you. I always say a mentor-mentee relationship is reciprocal. Your mentors get something from you, whether it's inspiration, whether it's encouragement, whether it's whatever. Sometimes it's lessons that you don't see, right? As much as you learn from them, they learn from you. So you are really, really inspirational, and it's a pleasure to work with you. I feel so blessed that our paths crossed, really.
So much, Prof. I am equally blessed that our paths crossed.
Good, and all of the best with your career, Rachel. All of the best with your career.
Thank you.
Fantastic. So I'm gonna turn you off now. We'll talk again another time. Hurrah, ladies and gentlemen, that was Rachel. Wasn't that super inspirational? That was super inspirational. Rachel is inspirational. I hope you grabbed as much as you could. You know, we'll talk to Rachel another time. I want to sign off right now, but I want to remind you not to forget to join me on Thursday. I'll be on Radio Bob, Thursday, 8 to 9 p.m. on Radio Bob live. This week I'll be live on Radio Bob. And I told you, I'm going to be having 4 sections or parts to the show, right? I'm going to first start the first part. I'll be talking about an issue in education, and that will be giving my reflections. The second part, I'll be interviewing someone, And third part, you send me your questions, you tell me what you want me to answer to, whether it's about university, whether it's about building a career, whether it's about taking your child to varsity or supporting your young person at university or figuring your way out. We'll talk about that. And then the fourth section, I'll do a motivational session, right? That's on Thursday on Radio Bob. If you don't know what Radio Bob is, it is a radio station with a mind of its own. And you can get it on an app. The app is, you can access the app. Just download Radio ZA. When you get to Radio ZA, there's lots of radio stations. Search for Radio Bob. And then you click there, 8 to 9 on Thursday evening. I'll be with you. Peace out.